Hi everyone, welcome to our live stream and thank you for tuning in. My name is Daniel and I am from the community team at LottieFiles. We are super excited today to be sharing about animating a Touch ID fingerprint icon. And joining us today is Anna Davydov, motion graphic designer at Payoneer. And guess what? She's a Lottie Evangelist too. We hope you're ready for the session that we're going to have today. And I believe we have folks tuning in from across the globe. So please do give yourself a shout out on the live chat and tell us where you're tuning in from. For those joining our live stream for the first time, let me start by giving you a quick intro to LottieFiles. LottieFiles is a platform for testing, collaborating, and discovering animations for a community of designers and developers. The platform offers a variety of tools and features that aim to make the discovery, creation, and implementation of Lottie animations easier and more efficient. There are plenty of ways you can make full use of Lottie, such as these use cases, where you can use them in your app, your website, create a funky Telegram sticker, add them to your games in AR and VR, or hey, even use them in your presentations or ads. There are over 130,000 companies that uses LottieFiles to ship their animation. And some of them include TikTok, Google, Airbnb, Disney, and guess what? Payoneer. And that's who our speaker is hailing from today. Haha. Our team runs various events across the globe, covering topics for developers, designers, and marketers. So do check out our community page or simply search for the hashtag Lottie Community on any of the social media channels to find and connect with our fellow organizers and evangelists. And lastly, before we begin our session, please enjoy this short introduction video about LottieFiles.
I've got a big fat drum, I've got a big fat drum, pounding so bad. I've got a big fat drum, I've got a big fat, big. Listen, yeah, clap. You ready? Let's go.
That was awesome, right? Now, let's welcome our speaker on stage for this session. She's a motion graphic designer at Payoneer and a Lottie Evangelist. Let's welcome Anna Davydov. Hi, Anna.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Hi, good afternoon for everybody who's joining it.
That's awesome. We're happy to have you here. Yeah, we're happy to have you here. Would you like to introduce yourselves to the viewers?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a motion graphic designer, a marketing designer based in Israel. I've been working at Payoneer for about 4 years, and my great and biggest passion is motion graphics. That's why I'm here, basically.
Awesome stuff. Here's to a great session ahead. Anna, please take it away.
Cool. So today, we're going to animate this cool icon. It's kind of Touch ID icon, which you press when you want to add your Touch ID. So here is a quick preview how it will look like when we finalize it. And I wanted also to share with you the example how it can look like when it's already live on the web page. Here is a screenshot from the web page that I recently created for the company where I work. So here, this icon is basically synced with the scroll. So you scroll down and you see this animation, you scroll up, you see these gradient lines going out and going in. So, you know, it gives like a kind of nice touch to your web pages. It makes your web pages really like more prominent, more eye-catching and more live. So let's go forward and see how you can animate it by yourself. So today, to animate this icon, we are going to take these 3 easy steps. The first of them, we need to create a static icon in Adobe Illustrator, or you can just download some ready stuff from, let's say, Icon Scout, or either I will share later at the end of our session, we'll share open files. You can use open files from this tutorial, so feel free to download it and just to play around by yourself. Then we're going to animate this icon in Adobe After Effects, and then I'll show you how you can easily export it with LottieFiles plugin for Adobe After Effects. So I hope you're ready and excited as me, and let's go. So first of all, as I said, you need to prepare graphics in Adobe Illustrator. I already created kind of draft in the Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to show you some really important things you need to pay attention when you creating your own. So first of all, when I drew this icon, I made sure not to convert all these lines into shapes. You see, it's still line, so it should stay as is. Don't apply any colors for now. Just let it be just any plain color you choose. I just chosen black, so we'll go with black for now, and then we will add colors later. And one more really important thing before we will animate it in Adobe After Effects, please make sure your layers are prepared properly. So if you have this panel open, go to this panel. If no, don't worry, go to the window, layers, and just open this the layer panel. And now you need to split basically this icon into 2 layers. The first one should be with a background. I'm just cutting it out, creating a new layer, and pasting it back to this layer. And it's also important, at least for me, but I guess for you as well, please give an appropriate name. So if it's a background, just take a second and give the layer an appropriate name. And if it's an icon itself, so it should be named icon. It will just make your work in After Effects later on easier. Imagine you have not 2, but let's say, I don't know, 11, 12, 100 layers. So just to make your life easier, don't forget to give an appropriate name. And now you see I have a separate layer for icon for all these lines of the Touch ID icon, and for background I have a separate layer. Cool, we're basically set in Adobe Illustrator. Before we are going to After Effects, don't forget to press save. It's really small thing, but saves time and it's really important. So now we're going to Adobe After Effects, and we need to go to the File, Import, choose File, and then just pick the Illustrator file that we just created. We should choose here from the drop-down Import as Composition Retain Layer Sizes, and click Open. Okay, it's here. Let's check. Okay, I guess it didn't work. Let's save it again. Should appear with 2 layers. Let's go with Save. Let's create new project, so it will be completely clean one. And go to File, Import, File, and choose our composition. Sorry, something went wrong with my Illustrator file, I guess. Hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm importing the wrong file.
Hey, Anna,
Let's-
so sorry, we are not able to see your camera properly. Would you be able to readjust it a little bit?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is
Yeah,
it better now?
yeah, there we go. Awesome, thank you very much.
Amazing. Thanks. Okay, when we imported our icon, we need to create shapes from our vector layers and make sure that everything was okay. I still have a background on this layer, okay, but no worries, we can just split it here. We can remove the layer with our Illustrator file, and for now we are going to work with this outlines layer that was created when we turned our file into shapes. I just want to split the background and the icon itself, so I'm just pressing Command D to copy the layer. And I'm just opening, clicking on the drop down and selecting the content of this layer. For the background layer, I'm removing all groups of the icon. So only the background will be visible here. And, okay, just a second. Turn it off. When you playing with your layers, you can just turn off and on the layers, so you'll be able to see where is the object that you're looking for. Okay, cool. So this is our background. Again, let's give it a good name. And now we have to remove from the top layer the background. So basically we have one layer for the icon itself and one layer for the background. Okay, cool. We can actually log the background layer for now. And again, don't forget to save your project. Don't just not to, you know. Okay, so for now, we have these two layers, and what we're going to animate, this icon. But if I'll animate only, I basically need to to show the state where it's completely out of the screen, when it completely disappeared, and it will look like this. I don't want it to look like this. I want to have a kind of gray background for all these lines of the icon. So I need just to duplicate the layer again. Again, I'm using Command D shortcut to do it. And for this background icon layer, I'm changing the line color. I'm just picking some very light gray, so it will look like this, and giving it a right name. Icon, let's call it icon background lines. Again, I can just lock it, and we're going to animate the very top, the very front layer with our lines. Before we start animating it, I want also to give some nice gradient to the stroke. So I'm going on the top panel to the stroke section. I'm clicking on the name on the stroke itself to choose another option. I don't want it to be plain. I want to choose a gradient one. So I'm choosing linear gradient. You can play around with it. You can choose a radial one, like whatever works for you. And again, you can play with the colors. I just have this nice gradient that I thought I like these colors, to be honest. So yeah. You can pick whatever works for your project, for your brand guidelines, and so on. Then we'll need to open the contents of our icon layer. So go to the contents and drop down, you see all lines as separate groups. And you can adjust the gradient so it will look more smooth. You can just play around a bit and see everything looks fine and the gradient is smooth enough. So basically, to adjust the gradient, you can just click on the group and then go to this line and move, take this tiny circle at the end of the line and move it around to make sure the color fills the line in the way that you really like. Okay, I think we're pretty much there. Maybe this one a bit. Okay, now the most interesting part. Again, save, and now we're going to animate this line. So we need to go to this topper layer and click on Add, and add trim path animation. So then we're opening the drop down of the trim path animator, and you see if we are playing with these controls, with the end control, basically it's set as a default on 100%, but when I'm moving it to 0%, you see that all lines disappearing at the same time, and I really like that it's synced. So let's animate it. Let's say set the first keyframe on the 0. To set a keyframe, you just need to click on a small stopwatch on the left to the option of end. You're clicking it here, and then you see on the timeline a small dot appear. It means you have a new keyframe for this state, for the 0% state. And then we're just going to the end of the animation and setting it to 100. And let's say what happened. I'm just pressing space to see how it goes. Okay, and you see the lines are filling with this gradient. I think it's, it's a bit too slow, so I want to move the second keyframe to the 10 second instead of 15 second. Let's see. Okay, now I think it's better. One more thing we can do with these keyframes, you see it moves very like it moves with the same speed throughout the whole animation, and I want it to make more like more life, let's say. So in this case, we can play with the easing settings. To play with it, you should go to the keyframes that you already created. Do right click on one of them, go to keyframe assistant, and then choose easy ease option. Both of your keyframe dots should convert to this kind of like two triangles sign. You need to you need to click on, you can just click on an end, on this end option to select both of them at the same time, and then you should go to this one, to the graph editor, just click on it, and your timeline will turn to this view. And here on this timeline, on this graphic of time, you can play with easy ease and easy out. Let's say I wanted to go slower at the end, so I'm moving my graph like this. Let's play it again. You see it moves differently now. Again, you can play around, you can move it slower both at the beginning and at the end. Just play around with the graph and click on the space to see the results that it produces. Okay, I think it was too slow at the beginning, so let's go back to the previous option. This is basically the first option of this Touch ID animation. But you know, when you see a real Touch ID, it usually looks a bit differently. It doesn't go like the whole way from the beginning towards the end. It usually has kind of stops, kind of some points when you touch it, and then line goes like 30% of its way. Then it has a tiny pause. Then it's again, you touch it and it goes like 30% more of its way. So to imitate this effect, we can create another option of this animation. Let's just go to the panel with all composition, click on the compositions that we already have, and then press Command D to duplicate the same composition. Again, I think it's a great tip just not to remove the animations that you just created, but to duplicate the layers, to duplicate the composition, play with it, and then if you see it looks better, okay, great, you have another composition which looks better. If you don't, so you can easily go to the previous stage, to the previous composition, and like don't remove scenes before you like 100% sure that it will work better. I just duplicated it and going again to the first composition, to the top layer that we created. I'm clicking on the layer and then I'm just clicking U on the keyboard just to reveal all animated layers that I have, like all keyframes that were added to the timeline. Okay, and now I have like animation of 10 seconds. So basically I want it to play like for 2 seconds to go from 0 to 30%. And I'm just adding one more keyframe and giving this 30% amount as this keyframe. So you see I have a new keyframe on my timeline. Going some frames forward, and again, adding the same amount, like 30%. So we basically we'll have this tiny stop on for these frames. I just want to remove any easy effects for now. To do it, you can just select all the keyframes, press Command, and then click on one of the keyframes. It will remove all easing effects. Okay, so we have the line going till 30%, then it stops for some time. Okay, let's move it a bit. It will stop for a second, basically. Then for the for 2 next seconds, it will go up to 60%, and then again stop for a second. And then it will go towards the end. Let's press space and see how it goes. So you see now we added these tiny stops. Again, we can select all the keyframes for this animation, go to Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, and then go to the time graph and play with the graph. So let's say it will go slower at the end of each part of the animations that we just created. And then again, press space and see how it goes. Okay, perfect. I'm actually happy with the result. And now I want to show you how you can export it easily to the JSON file, like basically to make a code file that you can send to your developer and ask him to implement to your landing page, website, whatever. Or you can just use it, let's say, to implement to the Webflow if you're building a website by yourself. So you need to go to Extensions, LottieFiles, and you need to open LottieFiles plugin. If you don't have it installed, please go to LottieFiles.com and you can find instructions how you can download this plugin. I already have it installed, so I'm just opening it from the window panel, and here I need to choose the composition that I'm going to render. I prefer the second one, I like it better. So I just clicking on this arrow, waiting for it to be rendered. Well, it was super fast. And then I'm just uploading it to my LottieFiles profile. You can also click Save As and just save it as a JSON file, but for me it's more convenient to upload it and then test it on browser. Clicking on this tiny globe, I'm testing it on browser. It opens on browser and just checking and seeing and enjoying that animation that we just created together. So I think that's pretty much it about icon animation and exporting as a JSON file. And I will be happy to answer questions if you have some.
Thank you, Anna. That was a great session. Let's now get to the Q&A portion of the live stream. Please drop your questions for Anna in the live chat section. In the meantime, we have a couple of questions from our registrations, so let's get to that first. All right, we'll see the first question. How can we use Lotties with Figma Prototype?
I think it's amazing that that you can use Lottie in Figma. There is a great plugin for Lottie in Figma. Let's say recently I had to create a library of our animated icons, and I just opened them. I can actually show you a quick example. I just open Figma Online, and yeah. Great, perfect. You can see my screen. And created a new library for our animated icons. Throw it from my private LottieFiles library straight to the Figma, and they were inputted as GIFs. Now I can put them in any mock-up of the web page that we are creating. So yeah, it's a great tool.
Awesome. Let's. I hope that answered the question to the person asking. And here's the next question. How do I export a Lottie in After Effects and maintain size and resolution, but keep the file size small?
You know, almost every export as LottieFiles as a JSON with Lottie, it makes your life easier, and it makes your files really, really smaller than GIFs, let's say. But when you're exporting like some new projects, you can also play around with the effects that you're applying and see how it affects the size of the file. Also, make sure it's better, let's say, not to have some embedded images or some layers from the Illustrator. It's better to convert everything into shapes inside the After Effects, exactly what we did today on the tutorial. But again, don't worry to play around. Don't worry, just to export a couple of options, let's say with embedded image and with some elements converted into shapes, and just see which file is smaller, which file works better for you and for your project.
Awesome, thanks, Anna. Let's look at the next question that we have. What are some of your client or clients' most requested types of animations?
Okay, since I'm not a freelancer, all my clients, it's like inner clients of our company. It can be a client from another department, from marketing department, from HR, from everywhere, basically, in our company. And if we're talking in general about the animations, the biggest request, it's also like social media animations. But if we're talking about like web and animations for landing pages, let's say, we're usually asked to create either icon animation, or it can be a quick product demo animation as well.
All right. And I think that's most of the questions that we have from our registrations. Let's see if there's any questions that you'd like to pick up from the comments or the live chat.
Yeah, I see one question about the gradient fill. Okay, for me, sometimes gradient fill is coming in black and white. How to fix it? I guess. Okay, I guess it happens when you're importing files from Illustrator into After Effects. So don't worry, it's okay when you are transforming Illustrator files into shape lines in After Effects. It breaks your gradients. It's okay. It's our life. It's how it works. So don't you worry. You just need to refine all gradients in After Effects. Or as I said in this tutorial, just maybe it can be a better option just not to spend time adjusting gradients and make them perfect in Illustrator. Just go with the plain colors, go straight to After Effects and adjust them straight in the After Effects.
All right, awesome. Anthony, I hope that question is answered for you. And I think with that, that brings us to the end of the Q&A segment. I'd like to thank Anna again for doing this live stream with us. But before you go, Anna, is there any final words or pieces of advice you'd like to share with everyone?
Yeah, for sure. Like the main advice is to be patient and to try different stuff, to just try to play around with the scenes and try option A, option B, option C, Z, whatever, until it looks and works really good for you. And it's okay to try different stuff. It's okay if you see like kind of bad result. It's not a bad result. It's our life. It's how we learn scenes. So just try, and do as much as you can.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Anna. Now we will have Anna off stage. Thank you once again, Anna. And before you go, dear viewers, do stay connected with us on our social channels. You can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, GitHub, and even chat with us on Discord. Hope to see you all there. Lastly, and importantly, we value your feedback. Feel free to scan the QR code you see on screen or go to lottie.link/community to give your feedback for the live stream. Now, if you are interested in joining our network of Lottie organizers across the globe and running events like this one today, fill up the same feedback form with the indication that you're interested in becoming a Lottie community organizer, and we will be in touch. Lastly, one lucky winner will be chosen at random for some cool LottieFiles swag, so please get your feedback in. And that is pretty much it for today's session. I am Daniel, and on behalf of the LottieFiles team, thank you for joining us. See you at the next live stream. Bye-bye.